I want to ask you a question. Who's coaching you? Who's asking you the tough questions? Who's telling you, man, you're the common denominator to all of your issues and challenges? Who's telling you, man, all day long you become the magnetic pulse that attracts to you both good and bad? I want to be your life coach. I want to be the one that cheers you on to the finish line. I want to be the one that you ask the tough questions. And it doesn't mean that I have all the answers, but that means that you have a partner, someone who believes in you, not the you see right now, but the you can't imagine, the you that you are to become, the you were destined to be. I always say we both need the positive and the negative. It's not enough to have the knowledge of the matter, but we must have the wisdom as well. For wisdom settles it. And that's what I want to offer you as you join me on the Coach's Corner. I want to offer you the wisdom of the matter. Maybe it might be relationships, talking about our campaigns for more, for life, the dark room of our subconscious, our spiritual journey. Whatever it is, I want to be there to encourage you, to build you, to challenge you, to cheer you on to the finish line. I'm qualified to do this. Why? Because I'm you.
Thank you so very much for joining us right here on the Coach's Corner on SIBN Radio. My name is Marcus Sillett, a.k.a. The Coach, and I thank you so much for stopping by on today. As we approach this microphone on today, we acknowledge we sure enough got some issues, some challenges here and there, both personally and professionally, but we trust that you understand we're bringing the wisdoms of the matter from our own bumps and bruises. And we hope that we can earn the right to speak into your life. And I would be remiss if I did not say thank you to all those that are listening around the world, various platforms where SIBN Radio broadcasts this particular show. Thank you so much for following us on Twitter, 24/7 Hardcore Motivation and Inspiration for Your Spiritual Foundation at www.415-96radio.com. Thank you for those that are members now and contributing members or subscribers as well as partners or collaborators at www.we-support-SillettUSATV.com. Thank you also for liking our fan page on Facebook, SIBN Radio, the Coach's Corner on SIBN Radio. And today we're talking about assessing your worth and adjusting your beliefs. Assessing your worth and adjusting your beliefs. Let's get to work. We are in a thicket of trying to explain to others around our circle or in our circle, how did we come up with that valuation? A question you often hear when an investor is asked to invest in a company that has a loophole in the explanation of what it is that they are trying to achieve. For instance, if you were to ask for X, Y, and Z dollars and offer equity at XYZ percentage, the question that may come back to you is, how did you come up with the valuation based on the money you want poured in and the equity that you are offering? And so this show today is about our personal life, where we assess our worth or our valuation and adjust our beliefs. Now, some of us have undervaluated ourselves, undervaluation, and others of us have overvaluated ourselves. But the real question is, what are we worth? Not talking about dollars and cents, but we're talking about what are we worth, so that the belief system can now carry the final valuation, the final accurate valuation, by which now we're going to attract to us or detract from us or attract to us. Attract to us the things that we think we believe, though we attract to the things that will complement what we believe, whether we like it or not. We tell others about how we believe this, that, and the other. But the truth of the matter is, if you're attracting things that you don't like, that means it's in your belief system. It's already in your belief system, and there is something you must check deeper inside of you to make an adjustment. So when we talk about assessing your worth, the reason why we're talking about assessing your worth and adjusting your beliefs is because at some point you got to know what you're worth. Am I worth the engagement of drama for your mama 24/7? Am I worth the launches of disrespect and dishonor from people that were supposed to be in my circle? If I'm not worth that, then I have to adjust my belief system to enhance or to reflect my worth. Now, I want this to be a conversation today because I have a lot on my mind, but listen, let me break this thing down to you. When you talk about assessing your worth, this is kind of how I look at it, and I know there's other ways to look at it, but this is just one way to kind of assess the whole situation. We are looking at our worth based on our performance. Let's just be honest. We're looking at our worth. Now, for Christians, we're supposed to look at our worth based on the finished work of the cross, the resurrection power of Christ. All right? And inaugurate the things that he has done as being a representative of what it is that we should respond to by faith. And so you could say on a spiritual term that your worth is also based on your faith or your beliefs. But hence, what is the corresponding works, W-O-R-K-S, that validates your worth? Let me say that again. What is the corresponding works that validate your worth? For instance, going back to the Christian principle now, because some people are Christians, some people are not. But going back to that principle, one scripture says, if you confess with your mouth and believe in your heart. Well, that confession and that believing is a type of a work. We're not talking about following the 10 Commandments right now. Because if you follow the 10 Commandments and break one of them, you break all of them. And thus, if you built your worth on the 10 Commandments syndrome, you would come up short every time, you see. And that's why, hence, the Christian is to look at the finished work of Christ so that he or she will be able to have a stability in the worth calculations or the worth valuation, personally speaking. You see, so as we assess the worth, we come up with a few things that doesn't make much sense, so to speak. Why is it that I am yet attracting to me those individuals who do not value who I am and what I have to offer? Why is it that I am attracting men or women or jobs or things that have no corresponding conversation with what I think my value is? Well, one or two things, one or two extremes, if you will. One is that I have not assessed my worth. I haven't assessed it. I haven't taken a look at it. I haven't taken a second look. I mean, objectivity is everything and perspective is everything. If I look at things a certain way, then, that's the way it'll be. But once I change the way I look at things, the things that I look at will change. So most of us haven't assessed our worth because we're busy fighting off, wolves and bears, so to speak. We're busy caught up in the drama. We're busy with pleasure-driven behaviors. We all are tempted, but too many of us fall for our temptations. And so we don't have the space, the capacity, as one person had said once. He says, I need to understand your capacity. Potential is one thing, but capacity, what can you hold? Does your container allow so many gallons of opportunities? I need some help right there. So many liters, you see, so many miles. How many miles can you endure, you see? But most of us haven't assessed our worth. We haven't assessed it. And so if you haven't assessed it, indecision is no decision, but a decision yet still, because it sends the signal out, as I did a show once about the signals that we receive and the signals that we send, talking about the conscious mind and success. We're sending out a signal nevertheless. Even if you don't take the time to assess what you're worth, you're still sending out a signal based on your level of worth in your actual living. Because we live out subconsciously what we believe. We live out subconsciously the worth of our lives. And hence why I said earlier that the Christian's worth should be initially, elementary so, tied up in the finished work of Christ. But everybody that's listening to me is not a Christian, so we want to talk about assessing your worth and why we're not assessing it. Well, we're not assessing it because one of the issues that at hand is that we're hurt. We're hurt, and chances are we're hurt by someone who told us we were not worth much. We're hurt. We're busy wrestling with hurt and pain and sympathy and empathy when we should be standing up somehow or another counting what's left of us, what we've survived in the midst, and how we can come out to be a victor nevertheless. But we are still wrestling with pain. We're still wrestling with what she said and what he said and what they said about me and to me and about me and so forth and so on. And so while we're playing these games on the peripheral, the real game of life is being lost because we're not looking inward. We're not looking inward. We're not taking a measurement of what we're worth, and we're not putting that against, as I always say, we're not putting it against something bigger than ourselves. Because in order for you to have good, healthy self-worth, you're going to have some of that investment, some of that work in spiritual principles. Because if not, you are going to be all over the place. Today you're here, tomorrow you're there, and today you're up, tomorrow you're down. And so in the calculation and the assessment of my worth, part of it is spiritual. If I do not allow part of it to be spiritual, what will happen is I will be up and down like a clown, and I will be like a seesaw, I'll be like a circus. And that's why part of your worth should be spiritual. Part of your worth should be spiritually foundation. Spiritually foundational, you see. Little dry mouth today, you know what I'm saying? Assessing your worth. So a lot of us are not assessing our worth. We have no idea. If somebody was to say, well, how much did you put into yourself? How much have you invested into yourself? How much have you improved versus the last 5 years, the last 3 years, the last 2 years, the last 12 months, the last 6 months, the last 90 days? We wouldn't be able to say. And for some of us, we're so caught up in the pressure of life, we might be able to say, but we get tongue-tied trying to talk about it because we really haven't given thought to it, you see. And that's what the show is about, so that when you get off the air with us, you want to assess your worth. Now, what makes me bring up the topic is because until we assess our worth, we can't complain about those who don't value the worth we've not assessed. Let me say that again. Until we assess our worth, we cannot complain about the mistreatment of others of the value of our worth that we ourselves have not assessed, because we are yet disseminating from our being subconsciously and consciously the values of what we're worth, whether we have assessed the worth or not. Did you get that? We complain about, well, I got, a bunch of bad customers, or I got a bunch of bad relationships, or my kids are bad. Well, what are you worth? And until you assess that worth, are you worth respect? Are you worth honoring? And as an investor would say, well, what have you done? Whatever works, W-R-K-S, that validate your worth. Well, number one, I believe in a source beyond myself, spiritual. Number two, I have an incremental chart of measurability factors by which I have been able to, along my journey, see milestones of improvement. Number three, I have put away old things, and all things become new, to use a spiritual principle. I put away, going off on folks. I put away criminal behavior. I've put away facetious behavior, silly behavior, foolish behavior. And I've begun to shore up my foundation. I've begun to meditate. I've begun to listen to folks when they criticize me, even though sometimes it may not always seem to be constructive. I've begun to be more of a listener than a speaker, and all these different things. What are the works that show you have been working on assessing your worth? And part of your worth is the human dignity of the human experience. Part of your worth is the human dignity of the human experience. Everyone has worth, but every experience doesn't provide validation of that worth. I need some help. I said everyone has worth. You listen to my voice, gay or straight, fat or skinny, as they say, white or black, poor or rich, middle class and struggling, middle class and upper and uppity, okay? Manhattan investor and McDonald's worker. Everybody has worth. But the difference is some have assessed their worth, or some have assessed their worth and others have validated their worth and validated in a healthy way, and others have gotten validation in a negative way. I got to take a break. Assessing your worth is very important, because if you don't assess your worth, you can't complain about the folks who keep mistreating you, keep mistreating your business, keep stealing your ideas, keep wrecking your relationships, because you have not yourself assessed what you're worth. I am worth more than drama for your mama. I need some help. I am worth more than, attitudes and dishonor, on and on and on. Assessing your worth and adjusting your beliefs. That's what we're talking about today. This is Coach.
We'll contact you immediately. This is SCGPW. That's right. The Select USA TV collaborative media groups and partners worldwide for a limited time has opened up its membership to the general public. Now you can collaborate worldwide with media conglomerate SIBN Television and Radio. If you want to join free of charge for this limited time offer, then visit www.WeSupportSelectUSATV.com. That's right, we have programs, benefits, service, and so much more to offer to our members exclusively at SCGPW. That's right, visit www.WeSupportSelectUSATV.com. That's www.WeSupportSALETTEUSATV.com.
The number one show on SIBN Television and Radio, the Coach's Corner's Daily Show. Now airing www.415-96radio.com for hardcore motivation and daily inspiration. Tune in. That's www.415-96radio. That's www.415-96radio.com.
Yeah, we're talking about assessing your worth and adjusting your beliefs on SIBN Radio, the Coach's Corner today. We can't complain about others who abuse what we call our self-worth when we ourselves have not assessed it. And if you assess it, you may find, okay, I do not believe, based on my environmental exposure and my personal experience, I do not believe, or my worth is very low. My worth calculation, my worth measurability factors are obliterated through the multiple hurt situations, the multiple emotional dysfunctions, and on and on and on and on. And so you have to make that assessment, and then once you make that assessment, and then begin to repair what has been damaged in your worth column, and you repair what has been damaged in your worth column by adjusting your beliefs. Okay, for instance, I believe I deserve a drama-free relationship. Okay, I believe that I am the common denominator in the drama-free relationship that I believe I deserve. Okay, so if I believe I'm the common denominator in a drama-free relationship, it don't start with who's in my bed. It doesn't start with who's sitting at the table with me eating dinner or breakfast. It doesn't start with who I go to the movies with. It starts with me, because I am the common denominator. And so I'm adjusting myself. I'm adjusting. It's going to take some time. Don't do everything at once, but you're going to have to talk to yourself. You're going to have to do some meditation. You're going to have to do some praying. You're going to have to do some writing. You're going to have to do some journaling. You're going to have to work this thing out in your belief system and adjust yourself to the degree that now you upgrade your worth valuation by confession, meditation, repetition, and doing the hard work of not engaging folks who love drama for your mama in relationships. Using that for an example. I said I'm using that for an example, because some of y'all need that example. You feel what I'm saying? So, I mean, here you are. You want a drama-free relationship. I deserve a relationship where a man loves me for me, where a woman loves me for me. I deserve a relationship where we can argue sensibly. I deserve a relationship where I'm not being cheated on. I'm not being played and punked and pimped, and so forth and so on. All right, so if I say I believe that, then I check my worth columns. Okay, what have I done? I need some help. I felt some push me right there. What have I done? What does my WORKS explain that I believe about my worth? Because that's what people tap into. They tap into what you are, not what you said you are. I need some help. I said people tap into what you are and not what you. So we have to give ourselves exercises so that we're able to disseminate from our subconscious being exactly who we authentically say we are, and stop lying to ourselves and saying that we're something and we're not. And that's often the case. That's more often the case than not. We say we believe something, but we really don't. We say we're worth this, but we really don't know the work that we've done to increase or decrease the worth that we said we have. You see. So let's use the drama-free relationship, going back to that. Then that means you adjust yourself. You adjust yourself. Always turn off your cell phone when you get into the studio, y'all folks, if y'all don't, just so. Because that's what that was. You say you want a drama-free relationship, but the signals that you're sending out is that you have low self-worth. And obviously, low self-worth is very obvious to some folk and not so obvious to others. Low self-worth is you can barely handle a compliment. Low self-worth is that you like a lot of attention, or I need some help. See, it takes a long time after you've been abused. I hate to admit it, but it takes a long time after you've been abused. It's amazing how the abuser can say they are sorry for what they've done to you. They apologize for what they've done to you, not realizing that it takes a life's work of overcoming innuendos and insinuations, internally speaking, so that you can display from a core of truth and authenticity the person that you had the potential to be. It's amazing to me how that the aggressor, the abuser, can say they're sorry. But as I said, it seems to take a lifetime of work to adjust now your worth, your valuation, and thus adjust your belief system that you deserve better. It's not about just deserving more, but better. Or I deserve the best. Well, in order to get better, in order to get the best, I have to be evaluating myself personally and authentically as better and best. Because I will get no more than my core. I need some help right there. I said, I will get no more than the truth and the authenticity of what I have believed and accepted about myself in my core. Why are we lying to ourselves? And that's why many people have copped out. I'm not looking for a relationship. I just want a booty call. Why? Because you don't have the skills to compete. You don't have the skills to compete. What am I talking about compete? Compete with a casual relationship with a serious relationship. You have no skills. You don't want the skills. You don't want to do the hard work. You want to do the easy work until you reach that age where you can't keep playing that game, and then now all of a sudden you back to square one, having to face the same trial that you avoided. I need some help. I need some help right there. Let's say about your business that you want clients who pay. You want clients who stay. Client retention, customer retention. Then, and listen, now in other cases that you look at, there is momentum at work. It's not necessarily the person, but some perhaps have a plethora of money, or a plethora of impact, or influence, or power, or great support group. Excuse me, and that's what has propelled them forward, while you're thinking that, man, that person has the worst attitude in the world. But there may be other factors that have pushed their worth up to a valuation that may not only be their valuation, but coupled with, that's why when you see sometimes a business that says 100 years of experience, it don't mean that the person running it has 100 years, but when you combine the momentous power of all the influence and impacting factors, then that company now has 100 years worth of experience to present to the customer, and the customer is attracted to that because that has much more worth than the person. I need some help. Yeah, than one person. We got 75 years of experience. We got 50 years of experience. You see what I'm saying? And so for your business, assessing your worth. Well, what have you put into it? And then, at the end of the day, no matter how much work a business has, you got to have some sales. And let's say your sales is crappy. Now, under momentous power, you may already be okay, but then you may have another problem where you may have a high turnover or something like that. But the point that I'm making is we have to look inside ourselves and assess our worth. Personally speaking, what am I disseminating from the core of who I am? And how does that differ from who I need to be? And thereby now I need to adjust based on the assessment. I need to adjust my works, W-O-R-K-S, to shore up my worth. And I'm going to adjust my works to shore up my worth through my belief system. But you can't change a belief system overnight. There is no way you can change a belief system tomorrow, but you can start tomorrow. Or you can start today. And through repetition, through determination, through faith, through hope, and through being tried. Because at the end of the day, look at life like this. Whatever you say you want to change, you're going to be tested in the same. Whatever you say you want to change, you're going to be tested in the same. Whatever you say you want to change, you're going to be tested in the same. To see if the test and the trial and the tribulation comes only to test the authenticity of what you said you wanted. It only comes to test the authenticity of the change you say you wanted. It's not nothing personal. I've seen it. I've gotten calls where people insult my worth. And I say, in times past, I would buy into their conversation. I would buy into the drama. I would buy into it. I would buy right into it. I'd bite right into the apple, you know what I'm saying? And then I caught myself several times as I listened to them on the phone or read their emails. It's like my spirit rises out of my body and sits on the outside of the entire experience looking in, and I can see the emptiness of what they're saying and the emptiness of the deal that they're bringing and the emptiness of the potential of the deal. And the red light goes off, and I say, you know what? I'm so glad now that I've learned to assess my worth and still yet learning to assess my worth, that I can adjust my belief systems to the degree that I send out the signal of authenticity, not to say that I'm there, but I'm in a press. I press toward the mark of the call. I need some help. I press toward the goal. Intermediately, I press toward the long range goal. I press. I'm not where I was, but I'm not where I used to be because I'm assessing. I need some help. Y'all don't want to go with me. You don't want to go. You got to be honest. You got to be honest, and honest folks get an honest day's pay. I need some help right there. You got to be honest. You got to look at the hard areas of your life and say, you know what? Something is wrong with me. You see, something is going on with me. It's not them, it's not her, it's not him. It's me. What am I worth? And how did you come to that valuation? Well, I came to this valuation because when I looked at the investment into myself, when I looked at what I've stopped, in other words, I looked at my sales numbers. What have you sold yourself on? How many deals have you closed on your own time, turf? How much revenue have you generated for your own belief system? What have you bought into about you? This is a very complex but yet simplistic aspect of bringing more of a certified change in your life. Follow me on Twitter if you can. Don't forget to support me, www.WeSupportSelectUSATV.com. You are worth more, so adjust after you assess. It's Coach.